Wakey, wakey, smell those eggs and bakey. It's time for Breakfast Talk, a podcast discussing current, independent, and mainstream entertainment topics from gaming and movies to comics. Start your week off right with the Breakfast Boys. As always, if you can smell what we're cooking, click that like button, and if your tummies are rumbling for more, click subscribe and ring that Brecky bell to turn on all notifications. All right, let's talk.
Breakfast down!
Breakfast down!
Episode 14. Okay.
I literally wait all week to say that, so I don't care if people like it or not.
Yeah, I wake up on Monday and go, damn, it's 6 more days until I can shout Breakfast Talk.
Literally, the countdown begins. Just a quick one before we start. Go ahead. There you
go. Okay. So before we get started, there's next week there is a thing that we're going to be doing. It's called Creator Drop-In. So whoever actually watches the live thing that happens, that's 3 p.m. next Sunday.
3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. Whatever topics we do talk about, unless if whoever actually comments topics to talk about on this YouTube video when this comes out this coming week on Tuesday, we'll talk about a couple things, and then you can actually comment. We can invite you into the stream, and then you'll have you'll give your couple thoughts on whatever the topic is that we're talking about, and then we'll kick you out, and then we'll bring in someone else. We'll do. I actually got the idea from Indie Comics Dispatch, so I actually like that. Except it was more for campaigns and stuff, but this is not for Kickstarters or whatever. It's definitely just for whatever the topics are that we talk about for that next week. So, yeah. So to start this off, we got some video game news.
Something recently that came out is apparently Netflix is looking to get more involved in video games. So I didn't even know this, but apparently Netflix over the last few years, in 2020, 2018, they would produce these little one-off games. Like Black Mirror, when that came out in 2018, they had this little game that you could play, a choose your own adventure for it. Mm-hmm. So now what they're doing though is they're apparently talking to heads of these much older video game companies and looking to potentially do bundles. So it could be one of those things where, so Xbox, they have the the Game Pass, where you pay monthly to get access to a catalog of video games. Netflix could potentially do the same thing. I know that Google, was it a year or 2 years ago, they were doing this. I don't know, they might have actually canceled this. I know they were working on it for a while, but basically having a cloud gaming platform. Essentially, you can play on your phone, your computer, wherever you have access to the internet, you can play these video games through their cloud. And that's something that Netflix could potentially get into, along with producing their own games. What I would picture is if they really wanted to get into this, they would probably end up diving down the same rabbit hole they did with their TV and film, which is find a bunch of good ones, draw people in, get them to sign up for the membership, and now that they're signed up, start producing their own. Mm-hmm. And then I think I mentioned this before, that's one of those things where Amazon, Hulu, all the other streaming platforms, all of those platforms have other backing. Netflix is only a streaming platform, which means if they want to survive in the long run, they have to do more, which is why they started producing their own film and TV shows. So that would be absolutely incredible if they, go down that same path with video games, start bundling them up, make it so you can get access to a catalog of video games, whether it's for stream or if somehow they can partner with a company like Sony, and then all of a sudden they start producing their own games with that funding like that. Yeah, I definitely would love to see where that goes.
Yeah. Yeah, to have something more exclusive to Netflix would be pretty cool like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it for gaming news today.
All right, Netflix getting in the game. All right, so moving on to the next topic. So pretty interesting Am I in the wrong spot here? Okay, there you go. Pretty interesting film news. I kind of wanted to. I totally like kind of missed the topic that would be super relevant. But I kind of jumped onto something else because I'm like a fan of this series, like in this franchise, and it's just interesting to me. So I figured I'd just share it. So Disney like owns the Predator and Alien franchise now. So now they're going to be making more movies in the franchise. They had I don't know if they produced the one in 2018, the Predator, but it was okay. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it kind of led to this like a bigger universe that they were teasing up to. And there was a director who directed Dan Trachtenberg. He directed the 10 Cloverfield Lane. That movie and like obviously other movies and stuff like that, but he was helming this one title called Skulls, and it was originally supposed to be kind of like not related to the Predator franchise at all, like in terms of the marketing or anything like that. So it was supposed to be seen as kind of like just a one-off kind of movie, and then later tied into the universe kind of like at the end of their marketing campaign or even at the end of the movie. It was supposed to be kind of like a surprise for fans, but I guess there was some wires crossed in the whole process, and Dan Trachtenberg kind of tweeted that it was supposed to be like a surprise, and he was holding on to this information, but I guess Disney kind of released that it is going to be related to the franchise, but it's going to be not a sequel to the 2018 movie. It is going to be another movie in the franchise, but unrelated to that other 2018 movie. So they actually already picked a lead character. She's her name is Amber Midthunder, which is like the coolest name ever. I hope that she's like Native American or something like that. I think she is. Yeah, so they already casted her. She's from actually Fox's Legion, Marvel Fox. The properties that got transferred over to Fox, they used one of those Legion to make Legion. I mean, and she was actually one of the main characters on that show. So if you have watched it, you probably know who she is. But anyway, so they casted her as the main character, which is really, really interesting because, like, again, this is where I'm interested in it. There's actually a comic iteration or comic canon version of the Predator Alien series. And in the Predator series, there was one female human who actually got blooded into the Yautja, which is basically the predator species. So like, when they take off the mask and they got the little, the crab face, that's the Yautja, or I don't even know how to say it really, but if somebody correct me in the comments or whatever you want to do. But basically there was only one human that was ever blooded into their clan, and her name was Machiko Naguchi. So this casting might be a call to like an iteration of that character where we see a human that's blooded into the Predator clans essentially. So that might be super interesting. I think that was actually one of the most interesting things that I found about the comics was like there was this one standalone character who like survived this like alien raid on her planet. Like basically the Predators came, they infested the planet with xenomorphs, and then she was like the only one who survived the onslaught. And because she impressed, I guess the leader of the clan, his name was like Broken Tusk, he blooded her in, and she became like a full-fledged like predator, and she would legit just go on little raids and stuff like that, and she was kind of like his counterpart in Broken Tusk's counterpart in terms of like his leadership and stuff like that. So just a really interesting storyline, and hopefully this is an iteration of that character. So again, kind of super off topic. I actually kind of wanted to talk about the new Batman reveal, the Riddler's like suit revealed, but it kind of came out like at the beginning of the week, and it's like kind of old news now. It's probably all over Facebook. So this is something that's a little more off the radar. So that's kind of why I wanted to kick it in the conversation. But that's all I got.
Something interesting I was just thinking about is the fact that I don't remember if it was the most recent or the one before that, the Mortal Kombat games that actually had Alien and Predator in there. And it'd be interesting if when that happened, Disney owned it. Because now I'm trying to think about like who the heck makes Mortal Kombat, like who's their connections, because they also had like the the Freddy and Jason and all that stuff. I'm trying to think of like what entertainment company owns those rights. Because if they bought Fox, and maybe Fox owns one of like the sub companies that owns all of them, and maybe that's how they're getting into those games.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Mortal Kombat is owned by a larger subsidiary like that, like a big company like Sony or Fox or Disney or anything like that. But I know they are a Chicago-based company. Yeah, they started in Chicago, and I think they're still pretty independent, if I'm not mistaken.
So basically, they just took what they saw on the streets and made some fatalities in the game.
Pretty much, yeah. Legit, I'm pretty sure they just like like you said, they just came up with like a whole bunch of characters that kids would come up with, and fighting with their action figures. That's pretty much what happened.
Nice.
Who knows?
So, like about 29 years ago, Spawn became a thing, and next month there's this new comic. Actually, it's going to be a comic series, and it's Spawn's universe under Image. June 30th. There's going to be Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, Medieval Spawn, and She Spawn. Those are all connected with Spawn's universe, so that's coming.
Yes.
So yeah,
that's really cool too. You remember we found out that Greg Capullo, one of the longest running like Spawn artists, like lived like a few blocks from where we live.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I lived in Guilderland, and he lived in like Altamont, and I was like, what the heck? We actually met like some friends of his, and we were just talking about the fact we do comics, and they're like, oh yeah,
didn't he just do Batman?
Huh?
He did Batman.
He did Batman as well. He did a bunch of stuff, but Spawn.
Yeah, he's huge.
Yeah, Greg Capullo. Yeah, Greg Capullo's big time. What is he?
He's amazing too. His artwork is
like Spawn, Batman, X-Force. Like he's worked on a bunch of those like big name comics, but Spawn he was like long running on that one.
Yeah, someone that we met at a Chamber of Commerce meeting, like, is somehow friends with him.
Yeah, that's what it was. I think it was the wife that was there. Her husband was friends with him. Is that the wife was friends with him? And they were able to get like a custom made Joker like poster that was signed to him.
Wow.
Yeah, like he just did it for his birthday. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So now we're gonna jump into the brunch bulletin.
That was probably the shortest breakfast talk in the history of breakfast talk. So.
Oh yeah. Well, Dylan has
everybody.
things to do, and
I just didn't go off on rants on the video games this time. I kept it simple. I was like, there's a lot going on. I'm going to talk about something that I don't think enough people are talking about.
Plus, brunch bulletin is like about to be long because we're going to be listing off names like
That's right. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, that'd be cool if like each one of us could actually like
Take a list.
follow through. Yeah, 'cause there's so many. So,
Do you have the list available? Bring it up, man.
what?
Weird flex, guys.
Oh, no flex. I just thought it was awesome that like we happen to be entering the comic book world and find out one of like the top like artists out there lived just like around the corner.
You could have been like shopping at the same grocery stores, eating the same pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have ran into him and not
Exact same.
realized because like it's so often like you don't always know the artist's face, but you know their name, and so like it could have been like I could have walked past him. And never
Could have flicked him off in traffic. Who knows?
Maybe I did.
Maybe he's a terrible driver.
Maybe I knew it was him. Nah, just kidding. He's awesome. I follow
No,
him.
you can't take it back, Chuck. You already said it. It's in the mix already.
Dude, I once lived near something cool. One time.
I also threw in the whole Mortal Kombat being from Chicago thing, so that's kind of a weird flex too. If you want to talk about that too, maybe you missed that part, Chuck.
Yeah. Maybe he did. Get over here. No, I'm good. I don't want to go to Chicago.
Come on, get over here.
Get over here.
Nah, y'all don't want to be in Chicago. The tax is way too high over here. Actually, I live in New York. You live in New York, yeah. So you're pretty much there too. So.
Before we end breakfast talk, again, there's the creator drop-in. It's at 3 p.m. Eastern next Sunday. So if you are fans of any topic that we do discuss, then you can totally join.
That's a good boy.
What?
Who's a good boy?
Tony Blade likes to be deep dished. Oh,
Look.
and now we're banned. Look what you did.
I'm sure she loves a bit of Italian beef combo with the sausage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't know like those guys down under. So
Yeah, exactly.
okay. So
They could have taken some turns right there, but we're on some PG stuff right now, so
yeah, rated PG for
pretty gay.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. How embarrassing. Oh, this? You like this? Well, yeah, that's just a Breakfast Talk, merch design that I made, for our podcast, Breakfast Talk. No big deal, Oh, what? You want one? Oh, well, I can show you where to get it. Alright, so we're going to head over to SierraNovaComics.com, and then we're going to look at the featured comics section. You guys can catch up on all the Breakfast Talk and Breakfast Bulletins, as well as the other podcasts that is sponsored by Sierra Nova Comics. And then we're going to head over to the Indie Store, which is where we get all the merchandise. And then pop over and grab an awesome shirt designed by my buddy Martin. It's a really, really cool design. Or head down here, and let's join the Indie Revolution. Check out that awesome design. Or you can get yourself a Gravedigger sticker from the Chronicles of Horror collaborative indie project hosted by the Sierra Nova Comics platform. Treat yourself and get yourself a Triple Threat Comics mug. Or head over and get yourself an Ice Pick Ultra Sweet Ultra Cotton Tea. Yeah, so we divide the 2 and carry the exponent. Are you still here? What are you doing? Go! Get indie merchandise. Go pick up a Breakfast Talk mug. I'll see you on Breakfast Talk.